This is QTV News. I am Ansumana Isonyasi and thanks for joining us. Coming up, Abu Dhabi commits to explore investment opportunities in the Gambia, says President Barrow as he returns from Abu Dhabi visit. APRC supporter Alunjai was killed by UDP militants in 2000, alleges Madi Sise, former GPU president and current UDP NAM for Serekunda. The ECOWAS heads of national offices hold 6th annual meeting to measure implementation of decisions from its Council of Ministers, which were set in 2015. For more on these and other stories coming up, stay tuned. President Barrow has returned from his Abu Dhabi visit. Speaking to reporters on arrival, the Gambian leader said the United Arab Emirates is committed to supporting his government's development blueprint. Aliou Cissé reports.
The president and delegation landed at the Banjul International Airport on Wednesday morning from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, where he was on a 3-day official visit. During the visit, the president had meetings with the Abu Dhabi authorities and investors who have expressed interest in exploring investment opportunities in the Gambia. The president also had a meeting with authorities of the Abu Dhabi Fund, and high on the agenda was the upcoming OIC summit to be hosted in the Gambia in 2022. The Emirate of Abu Dhabi pledged to assist the Gambia with VIP vehicles for the summit, airport ground handling equipment for the Banjul International Airport, and aircraft parking apron at the Banjul International Airport to accommodate aircraft flying in for the summit. In the area of health, the Emirate promised to support to increase access to vision and eye care service in the Gambia through the Sheikh Zayed Eye Care Center, after President Barrow held talks with the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi.
I think it's the first time in the history of this country for us to be invited on an official trip to the United Arab Emirates. They are a member of the OIC. We have discussed the OIC, and we have also discussed investment, because we know very well they have capacity to invest in this country. And I think they are ready to come to Gambia. They are setting up a technical team to come and engage our people to see how best and what we can do together. Because the prince asked me, what can we do in the Gambia? And I told him all the prospects in the Gambia. But the most important thing is the environment. I think we have created the environment. The sky is the limit for Gambia.
While in Abu Dhabi, 2 agreements in the area of investment and legal protection for Gambian workers in Abu Dhabi were signed by both governments. The 2 agreements were signed on behalf of the Gambia government by Finance Minister Mambouri Njai and Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Mamadou Tangara, respectively. 2 agreements were signed in the areas of investment and, of course, protection for workers who might be traveling to the UAE. How soon will these agreements come into effect?
Well, as I'll tell you, we are going to work on the process, and we have to ratify. Because everything that we are doing in this country, we have to follow the due process. That's why we will advise everybody in this country, whatever you are doing, follow the due process. We want us to follow that to consolidate our democracy. I think that is very, very important, and that is advice to everybody. Whatever anybody is doing in this country, let's follow the due process. We follow the due process to make sure we ratify, then we move on.
It is now hoped that the 2 governments will move from commitment to action by implementing the agreements. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Former president of the Gambia Press Union, Madi Sise, on Wednesday alleged that late Alunjai of the APRC was killed by UDP militants in 2000 following political violence in Basse. He made this allegation while testifying at the ongoing TRC public hearings. Later on, the former editor of the independent newspaper, Musa Sedikan, also testified. His testimony was in connection with his arrest, detention and torture at the NIA headquarters in Banjul. Bob Garcia has the rest of that story.
In his testimony, Madi Sise alleged that he was arrested with Musa Sedikan and other staff of the independent newspaper on the 27th of March 2006, after they erroneously reported that a senior government official was arrested in connection with the March 21st, 2006 foil coup. Furthermore, he told the commission that he was taken to the NIA headquarters, where during 3 days of detention, he was twice mercilessly tortured by the junglers.
Can you tell us exactly what was done to you?
Like I said, when
they called us that early morning of the day. As we were going out, they started kicking us and slapping us. And once we got to the ground, I wasn't stripped. None of us were stripped. But the clothes I was putting on were not heavy enough. Perhaps that's why I think they didn't. So it was a light cloth. And like I said, they use cables, they use belts, they use sticks to beat. And they just beat anyhow they want to beat. So it's not like you take a position, but they just keep beating and kicking until Musa would ask them to stop. And when they were asked to stop, then Musa will come in and ask questions. Questions like, who do you work for? Because I believe they have this notion that all medias are Western agents.
He further testified about an alleged attempt on his life. He also alleged that journalists were harassed and intimidated by agents of the defunct NIA, especially in the aftermath of journalist Deda Haidar's murder. The witness also alleged that the Jammeh regime orchestrated Deda's assassination. Testifying further, Mr. Cisse recalled the incident of Aliu Njai with the UDP militants in 2000.
What we know is that we are responsible of killing Aliu Njai at the Chamoy ambush.
Did you inform the police officers or the investigators in charge of the case that you were a journalist covering the occasion, covering the events?
Both in Basse and in Banjul, when I gave my statement in Basse, I did indicate that I was a reporter covering the tour. And during the questioning also in Banjul, I did mention the same thing. So I don't know what is the basis of the charges being dropped against me. But I know we were 80 initially in number, but very few ended up to the end of the case.
Next to testify was Musa Sedikan, a former journalist with the Daily Observer and Point newspaper and a radio station, Citizen FM. Mr. Sedikan alleged he was arrested on several occasions by the then NIA on different issues that the regime under Yahya Jammeh didn't like, particularly his time with the Independent newspaper, where he petitioned the former president on the killing of Deda Haidara while in South Africa. According to him, his second arrest came in 2006 when the media reported about an alleged coup plot by Ndur Cham. After days of detention, he was tortured by soldiers he claimed were from the state guard.
They started beating with gun boots. They have this wire with them. They had hose pipe. And they also had this device. I don't know, because that was the first time I saw the device and it was dark. But when they placed the device on the back of my head, I felt dizzy. I felt like I was shocked with an electricity. So they started beating me. They started insulting me, my mother, and they started blaming me, calling me a traitor, all kinds of names. Then they dragged me inside the hallway. When I was dragged there, then I was when that they stripped me naked and administered electricity on all over my body, including my genitals. Then I went into unconsciousness.
According to Musa Sedikan, the torture continued the following day, and this time, the three of them, Madi Cisse, Musa Sedikan, and Lamin Fati, all from the Independent newspaper, were jointly tortured by the soldiers from the state guard. All three were later released with the advice from senior military officers to be law-abiding citizens. Not that this was the end of the story. The Jammeh regime was never satisfied, nor able to rest, as the pressure coming from outside, particularly from former South African President Thabo Mbeki, who ordered Jammeh at the time to either release him or else he, Thabo Mbeki, would not attend or send economic support to the Gambia for the organization of the AU summit scheduled for Banjul.
So Thabo Mbeki was putting a lot of pressures on Yahya Jammeh. And at one point, he even threatened Jammeh that if I was not released from detention, South Africa was not going to participate. He was not going to attend the African Union Summit. And then South Africa, at a particular year, I think they gave over 500,000 euro to the Gambia as their own contribution. And then South Africa was not going to do this. So now the goal was, okay, let's release this stubborn boy. When we released him, then We waited until African Union Summit is over. Then we pounced on him. Then Thabo Mbeki's voice wouldn't have made any impact. So when I received all these three informations, I said, no, this cannot be a lie. This cannot be.
He had to find ways of leaving the country to Senegal, where he was received by the current Minister of Information, Ibrahim Asilla. Babukar Si, QTV News.
Meanwhile, the ECOWAS heads of national offices today held their 6th annual meeting to measure implementation of decisions from its Council of Ministers, which were set in 2015. The meeting also aims to help come up with recommendations for better implementation of ECOWAS programs. Maud Lamin Choi interacted with the stakeholders on some planned programs of West Africa's regional bloc, and he now reports.
After the implementation of ECOWAS protocols at their respective national levels, country representatives are meeting to gauge performance and share ideas to map out ways forward. At national levels, these representatives engage with governments to ratify and promote ECOWAS programs to which member states are signatories. The regional bloc has for decades been faced with creating peace in the region and to promote trade and integration among its 15 member countries. This might be an ECOWAS dream, but with an increase in conflicts in member countries, tackling such problems remains one of their top challenges. However, the use of preventive diplomacy seems to be their preferred solution.
The work of ECOWAS right now, they are more of on maintaining peace. Or in fact, now they are taking a strategy of preventive diplomacy, whereby if they have seen that, well, there is going to be a problem in a particular country, they have to quickly intervene and resolve the problem, because it's better, prevention is better than cure. So in that case, I think ECOWAS is having the challenges as far as the political situation of the region is concerned.
For more than 3 decades, ECOWAS has been struggling to realize their goal of a single currency. However, after 4 postponements for the launching of the currency, 2020 has finally been announced as the date for its implementation. The Gambia, however, is not among the 8 countries which are ready for the use of the currency in 2020. While the Gambia is rolling out a new currency, the Minister of Trade believes the country may join the ECO on or before the scheduled deadline.
Derived from joining the ECO will far outweigh our national currency. Yes, if it comes and we meet the conditions, fine, we will join by all means. And our central bank, they are definitely working towards that.
The ECOWAS single currency aims to promote trade among member countries, but whether the deadline will be met this time is disputed by analysts. Political will and economic growth are the driving force that will see a breakthrough in this long-standing goal.
We are watching, what I can say, they have the political will to move forward the single currency for ECOWAS, and I know that they have determination to do it. But I cannot say at what time exactly, at what date exactly the money will be launched.
Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
And we now take a short commercial break, and the news continues when we return.
QCell proudly brings you yet another new number series, the 52 and 53 number series. We now have a massive subscriber base of 1.2 million that is still expanding. So QCell is also expanding its number series to accommodate more people as they join our amazing network. The new 52 and 53 number series have the same fantastic services and the same great charges as the 3, 50 and 51 number series. No different. Call, text, browse the net and roam all over the world with the 52 and 53 number series. There are no limits as you communicate with the Gambia's trusted network. QCell Sunyubus, the Gambia's quality network.
Looking for a fun and interesting way for your kids to spend summer holidays? Then look no further than Q-City Summer Camp. The Q-City Summer Camp has various activities to keep your kids aged 6 to 16 years occupied and entertained throughout the summer holidays. Ranging from football, basketball, tennis, swimming, dance aerobics, tug of war, musical chairs, indoor and outdoor playgrounds, bouncing castles, and many more jam-packed activities. Q-City Summer Camp commences from the 19th of July to the 6th of September. It costs only $150 Cs per day and $500 C per week only. Delicious food is served and available from our Q-City food court. Rush and book now because spaces are limited. For more information, call 3372489 or 3655463 or visit our website qcity.gm.
Welcome back. The Gambia belatedly celebrates World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day. The 8th of May is celebrated each year as World Red Cross Day, marking the birth of Henry Donant, founder of the International Committee of the Red Cross. Jennifer Sonko was at Arch 22 in Banjul for the celebration, and Sina reports.
The Red Cross was born in 1859 when Henry Donant, a young Swiss man, came upon the scene of a bloody battle in Solferino, Italy, between the armies of Imperial Australia and the Franco-Sardinia Alliance. Many died and the wounded lacked proper medical attention. Donant and the local people helped the soldiers with their wounds. Donant was so shocked by what he had seen that he lobbied for the creation of a National Relief Society, hence the Red Cross Society was born. The theme for this year's commemoration is love. The big question is, what do you love about the Gambia Red Cross Society?
It gives you the dignity and respect to love human beings. Because when you look at all over the world, Red Cross volunteers are volunteering to take care of people that they are not directly related to. They are trying to improve their living conditions. So in this year, we are trying to show love to our staffs, our volunteers, and people we provide services to as well, so that everybody feel included about it.
Humanity, and giving the humanity down to giving the most vulnerable people in the society. That is what I love most about Red Cross, and the spirit of independence down to neutrality and then down to impartiality.
The Gambia Red Cross Society claims its volunteers and staff walk the extra mile to ensure that no one is left behind. Acting President of the Gambia Red Cross Society, Jato Esila, justifies.
Activities they are implementing in communities. We are currently supporting 5 communities in Kiang West with livelihood activities. We are providing first aid training and coverage to the public. We are providing support to domestic fire victims, and very recent, we are supporting over 500 families affected by the windstorm in URR and CRR.
Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
32 immigration officers plus 17 migration stakeholders are undergoing a 2-day training on the risk of irregular migration. The National Stakeholders Forum includes returnees, immigration border operatives, and other personnel of the security sector. Ajifatumbu picks up the rest of the story.
Irregular migration is a global phenomenon, and the Gambia is among one of the African countries which registers the most migrants in Europe. Young people face life-threatening risk on their journey to Europe. To address this, a capacity-building training course has been organized to help the participants jointly tackle migration problems in the Gambia. In a bid to resolving migration problems, the training also aims to go a long way towards preparing immigration border officials to overcome human traffickers and smugglers. Protecting Gambia's borders against human trafficking can be a challenge given that the country is a signatory to the ECOWAS Protocol of Free Movement of Goods and Services. The protocol, however, goes with responsibilities according to this immigration authority.
Even though there is this protocol on free movement, notwithstanding, you need to have valid travel documents when you travel to another ECOWAS country. So that is why we check at the border valid traveling documents. Even ID card is acceptable. ID card is acceptable within the ECOWAS space. Not only passport, but even ID card is acceptable.
The porous nature of the country's borders poses security threats, and it is a challenge to the work of the border operatives. Despite the little resources at their disposal, immigration authorities say they are making progress.
That is why our regional commissioners, have teams that I know it's not enough, but they do a lot of border patrols. Logistics is the problem. Vehicles, fueling, maintenance for those vehicles is a big challenge. But notwithstanding, we are trying our best. We are sensitizing the border communities that are sitting around those borders for the need to collaborate with us, and know that there are security implications.
The UN Agency for Irregular Migration, the International Organization for Migration, in consultation with the Gambian government, has voluntarily helped return over 4,000 Gambians since 2017. The IOM provides reintegration support to these migrant returnees in the form of skills training to help them pursue their career goals. Tombong Kuyate, a participant, is also a returnee who, upon return, has acquired skills and is now self-employed. He discourages irregular migration of Gambian youths.
Because some are locked in jail for 6 months, some are there for 1 year, and then some even lost their life in the prison. And then my friend that I went with lost his life the day they had to attack us, to our ghettos. And then some even lost their life in the desert. So it doesn't worth it. We said, when we got back to our country, before sitting down, relaxing, and we should not term ourselves as losers. We are still, we are winners. What is achieved beyond is achieved within.
In a related development, President Barrow has just returned from a 3-day trip to Abu Dhabi, where he signed an MOU to protect the rights of Gambian workers employed there. This follows months of media coverage about the poor treatment of Gambians, mainly young women, who had migrated to the Middle East in search of employment. Ajifatumbu, QTV News.
And before we end this bulletin of the news, let's take a quick look at our main stories. President Barrow has returned from his Abu Dhabi visit. Speaking to reporters on arrival, the Gambian leader said the United Arab Emirates is committed to supporting his government's development blueprint. The ECOWAS heads of national offices today held their 6th annual meeting to measure implementation of decisions from its Council of Ministers, which were set in 2015. The meeting also aims to help them come up with recommendations for better implementation of ECOWAS programs. That's all we have for you in this bulletin of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Until then, thanks for watching.